What if we could build a factory that doesn't just make things, but unmakes them? Today, we're going to look at a blueprint for something called an integrated recycling park. It's this bold idea to turn our trash into treasure and, maybe even reshape an entire industry along the way.
So let's just start with a really big question. What if our trash wasn't actually trash at all? I mean, what if it wasn't the end of the line, but a new beginning? Imagine every old phone, every plastic bottle, every broken down car. What if all that stuff was actually a super valuable resource, just waiting for us to tap into it? That's the core idea we're digging into today.
And this whole idea, it actually has a name. It's called the circular economy. Think about it. Our normal way of doing things is take, make, dispose. We pull stuff from the earth, make something, use it, and then chuck it. The circular economy flips that script. The goal is to create this closed loop where materials are just constantly being reused, repaired, and recycled. It's about designing waste out of the system from the get-go.
Okay, so how do we actually make this whole circular economy thing a reality? Well, the vision we're looking at today isn't just some pie-in-the-sky theory. Nope, it's a concrete plan, a blueprint for building a future where waste is literally engineered out of existence. All right, so here's the proposal. It comes from a company called Green Excel, and their idea is to create one massive integrated eco-industrial zone. And the genius of it is really its simplicity. I mean, instead of having all these separate recycling facilities scattered all over the place, they want to bring everything, all these different complex waste streams, together under one single super efficient green campus. Okay, so what does this thing actually look like? Let's take a quick peek inside this proposed park, right? Let's see the core facilities that would make it all tick. So the whole park is basically designed around 5 interconnected facilities. First up, you've got e-waste recycling. This is where they'll pull precious metals right out of our old gadgets. Then that links directly to metal recycling for stuff like copper and aluminum. Next, and this is a huge one for our times, is battery recycling to get back all that vital lithium and cobalt. It also includes a modern vehicle scrapping center to safely take apart old cars, and a facility that turns used plastic bottles right back into raw material. You see how it works? Each part feeds into the next, creating one big, comprehensive, interlocking system. Now, this is where it gets really cool. The tech that's going to power this whole thing. This is not your grandfather's recycling plant, okay? We're talking about AI that can sort materials with incredible speed and accuracy. We're talking about advanced chemical processes, they're called hydrometallurgy, that can extract metals cleanly. And get this, systems that ensure absolutely zero liquid waste gets discharged back into the environment. That's a game changer.
Okay, so a high-tech park sounds great, but so what? What's the actual payoff here? Well, the proposal breaks down the impact into 3 key areas: the benefits for the planet, for people, and for our overall economic progress. First off, let's talk about the planet. The wins here are just huge. By diverting all this stuff from landfills, you're drastically cutting down on soil and water contamination. And by recovering metals, we don't have to do as much destructive new mining. And this is critical. It stops all those hazardous materials from our batteries and electronics from just leaching into the ground. Oh, and on top of all that, it cuts carbon emissions. It's a win-win-win.
And this right here illustrates one of the biggest environmental wins: energy. Think about it. Making stuff from brand new, raw materials, it takes a massive amount of energy. But recycling those same materials, phew, it uses just a fraction of that power. This one shift alone could have a dramatic effect on cutting our reliance on fossil fuels. Okay, now for the impact on people. The project is expected to create over 10,000 new jobs. And we're not just talking about any old jobs here. This is about creating a whole new category of green-collar work, It's bridging those industrial skills with taking care of the environment. These jobs will be in logistics, technology, all across the supply chain. It really shows that going green can be a powerful engine for creating jobs. And it's not just about how many jobs, it's also about who gets them. The project has a really specific goal for social inclusion with a target for women to make up around 40% of the entire workforce. So this is really about building an industry that's equitable right from the very beginning. So what about the money, the economic progress? The impact here is pretty significant. They're projecting that for every single dollar invested, the park will generate more than double that in local economic activity. It's kind of like tossing a stone into a pond, right? That initial investment creates ripples that spread out, helping local suppliers, creating new business for service industries. It builds this whole wave of prosperity. All right, let's zoom out for a second and see how a local project like this fits into the bigger picture. This park wasn't just designed in a vacuum, you know? It's meant to be a model that aligns directly with some of India's major strategic goals.
I mean, this project pretty much checks all the boxes of national priorities. It supports Make in India by creating domestic supply chains. It's a huge boost for the Swachh Bharat, or Clean India mission. It's literally the embodiment of the National Circular Economy mission. And it provides crucial infrastructure for things like vehicle scrappage and, of course, the booming EV sector.
And hey, don't just take their word for it. This isn't just the company's opinion. This quote right here is from a recent World Bank report, and it basically validates the entire approach. We're talking global experts who see state-level integrated parks, exactly like this one, as the key to scaling up a circular economy across the whole country.
So who's the organization with this big, ambitious vision? Let's take a closer look at the group behind the blueprint, Green Excel.
Okay, so Green Excel is part of a larger company called the Excel Group. And this is where the story gets really interesting, because they aren't your typical industrial giant. Not at all. Their background is actually deeply rooted in education, publishing, and national skill development programs. Kind of surprising, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. That might seem like a really odd fit, but it's actually their secret weapon, their strategic advantage. See, they already run a successful e-waste plant, so they've got the industrial know-how. But here's the kicker. They've also trained over 500,000 people through government skill programs. So they don't just know how to build a factory, they know how to build the skilled workforce you need to actually run it. And that unique background, that's what shapes their core vision. It's not just about recycling stuff. For them, it's about creating this balanced ecosystem where taking care of the environment also provides people with meaningful jobs and real opportunities for learning and growth. Which brings us to our final thought for today. This proposal, it's really more than just a new factory. It's a blueprint for a whole new kind of industry, one that's cleaner, more inclusive, and completely circular. So, the question I want to leave you with is this. Could integrated recycling parks like this one actually redefine what industry even means in India?